Hello everyone, SilverContrail here, again, playing Resonant Rise. I am absolutely in love with this mod pack. There's so much fun stuff to do, and it keeps updating, keeps adding new things. Some of the stuff I've already decided I'm not going to mess with, and I'm thinking about trying to take it out of the mod pack. And that's definitely where you modded Minecraft. Its versatility definitely outstrips that of vanilla Minecraft. If you don't like something, just take it out. Really simple and easy way to change things up. I actually added two mods. One of those was Optifine, a very popular mod that increases your frames per second, makes the game run a little bit smoother for you. And the other one is FPS Plus, which is basically a version of Optifine that works a little bit nicer with Forge mods. Optifine doesn't always play nice with Feed the Beast, but usually FPS Plus will. Unfortunately, I don't really see that big of an increase in my frames, and what I wanted to do was be able to run the game on Fancy, and I just haven't been able to do that yet. You can see I've got the Optifine version. I've got C6, actually, an older one, but yeah, it's not really helping too much. I still can't run the game on Fancy because I get weird frame stuttering. I'm just solid 60 right now, and it's perfectly fine to play on, but if I flip it over to Fancy, the trees become transparent, and I don't know what it is about this area, but it really does not like it. And it might be just because there's too many mods on this pack right now. I know from experience that Underground Biomes, the mod that adds the terrain generation in here with the comatite and the other different miscellaneous cobblestones, that actually has a lot to do with performance, and taking it out would probably help in the long run. Was that a wisp? I just saw it. Oh well. Anyways, earlier today I actually did an update, and it pretty much broke a bunch of stuff. Thermal expansion had a big update, and it actually changed the way that these guys work, and we'll talk about all this here in a minute. But these guys are impulse item ducts. So basically item ducts in general, as well as liquiducts, which are, let's see if I can get up here, which are what I used here to power all my stuff in my machining room. And you can see very clearly what happened over here with all of my item ducts. If you saw in previous episodes the setup that I had down in this area, this is a tree farm, it is no longer functioning. Actually, I've got some fluid ducts kind of set up over here too. Here, a zombie. They are broken. They need to be taken apart, and you can see when you pull them out, you need to put this into a crafting table to get the new item they've changed. So you got to put them into a crafting table, get the new item. Boop, got it. So, what's the difference? Well, I've talked about these guys before. Let me do a little recap. Item ducts, fluid ducts, and oh my gosh, why are they filled with coal? The heck? Oh, okay, whatever. These guys aren't spitting out coal at me. These guys transfer liquids, they transfer items. They're pretty straightforward. You point them from one inventory to another, and they will move them between those inventories. And initially, I've got to craft all of these guys to turn them into the new versions. Initially, what I would do is I would have these guys come out, or pull items out of this chest, and send them to these furnaces, and then they would turn the oak wood into charcoal, and then the charcoal would either stay in here and continue to make more charcoal, or it would go to the solid fuel boiler. The steam boiler takes charcoal and it turns it into steam. As you can see, if I do that here, it's going to use that heat to generate steam. The steam gets pumped out via these fluid ducts, which are, again, not working anymore. And they go to the steam dynamos, which power the planter and the harvester, which work together to chop down the trees. And then the trees come back down here, or the logs and the saplings, and they go into the furnaces so they can be turned into charcoal so they can power the system again. And then the saplings come back in here so they can get replanted. But it doesn't work anymore because of the change. And actually, I could set it up again. It's not really that much more difficult, but they changed the way that they interact with... I have random things in my inventory again. They changed the way that these guys work a little bit. In the past, if you had... Is that all of them? I think I got all of them. In the past, if you have these guys coming through inventories and stuff like this, you could... There's a bunch of zombies over there. You could click on this while you don't have anything in your hand, and you could access some of the controls on what exactly this imports and what it moves around. And I'll show you that with the impulse item ducts. Now you don't get that control by default. It will just simply move items around based on whether or not it's pointed in the right direction. So we can look at this right here. So item filter. By default, these endings don't have them. So if I go over here and I look at this one I can't click on and access it. These two I can, because this item duct right here that's bridging these two kind of has an upgrade applied to it. So what is the item we need to upgrade our item ducts and fluid ducts and such in order to give them that item filter? That is this guy. Pneumatic servo. And I'm tempted to call this a salvo all the time, and I have no idea why. This guy is really easy to make. I can show you the recipe right in here. If we look up servo, it's a thermal expansion item, of course. You know, this is all thermal expansion stuff. And it's made with 2 glass, 1 redstone, and 2 iron. Very easy to make. I have my ME system automatically able to craft them for me, which we talked about last episode. And that is kind of what I've been working on for the most part. Working with these item ducts to kind of do my item sorting and processing. And then all of this nonsense. There's a lot going on over here. A lot going on. And it's only going to get more and more complex as I continue to move on. So I wanted to kind of recap some of the basics here, so I don't leave people behind, and when they come to look at my base setup, it isn't totally confusing and have no idea what's going on. In fact, some of it already confuses me, and I've forgotten what I did. The other thing, before we get started with this, the other thing is I did update to the new update for Resonant Rise. We always get an update like every couple of days, it feels like. And I did the update, and I came into my world, and it crashed right away. And it was because I had some item ducts running, and the game didn't like them. I'm not sure why, but it threw a fit. I think when the item ducts broke, it caused some item overflows, some stack overflows, and it crashed my game immediately. I had to go in with MC Edit and delete them. There were more item ducts going all over the place. There was a cable here. I had to move some stuff down here around. Come down here. I had to actually move that tesseract over to like here. To load up the world again, and yeah, but see if I can jump right. Well, when that was done, everything seemed to be working fine, so that's pretty cool. Alright, yeah, so ME systems applied to Energistics. These gray blocks, these sort of purple-white wires, and all the little buses, the import buses, the storage buses, as well as the ME interfaces, this is all applied to Energistics, and I think we got at least these guys set up last time. We talked about basically storing our items as data on these storage disks. I have 3 that are being used right now. The other 4 are empty. I've got a 1K storage, so 1,000 bytes. And I've got 2 4,000 byte storage systems. But even though they can store 4,000 items, they can only store up to 64 types of items. So that's important to know. This one is 100% full. It's got the max number of items, and it's using up the max number of bytes. And this guy is the ME condenser. This is my trash can of sorts. I'm using it to make singularities. You need a storage cluster in it in order to create it, and then you just import items into it, and it's going to delete those items. Right now I'm telling it to send dirt in here, so if it gets any dirt into the system, it's just going to export it via the export bus. You see dirt, also phosphorus. It's going to export those into here, and it's going to delete them, and it's going to add those into this accumulated energy bar, which takes about 250,000 items. That's a lot. That's definitely a substantial amount. And if I just shift click into here, I can just deposit items in there, which is fine, although it's not really making much of a dent in the accumulated energy count. When this is full, it will get some singularities. I can't make use of them yet, but I wanted to get started on them early. These are important for making some high-end, very high-end applied energistic stuff. So let's take a look into the ME terminal. From here, again, I can see all of the items that are stored on my ME drive and all my ME storage disks. So yeah, these are all of the items, and I can scroll down. And when I get to the ones that say craft, these are basically items that I don't have any of, but if I wanted one, I could tell my system to automatically craft. These are things that I've programmed into it using the encoded patterns and all the different recipes in here. Now, this one's red because it's broken. Again, that update kind of changed the recipe a little bit, so it doesn't work like that anymore. I think if I hit R... No, I can't view it from here. I could look up fluiduct. It's a fluiduct, right? Yeah, it's the non-opaque fluiduct. Transparent fluiduct. Yeah, transparent's a word. Fluiduct. Yeah, here it is. Oh, I know why it's broken. This one really isn't. This one isn't really that bad. Well, I can't really switch them out, can I? We'll just take some copper here. If we take away these guys and we pull it in U and U, it will update. You actually get 6 now, so that's why it was throwing a fit. What did I do? I don't even know what I did there. Oh well. Oh yes, I made an extra one. That's what I did. I made that earlier, and I forgot I had a pattern in here with that. And then of course we have the interfaces, which allow us to do some processing with some different machines that we have in here. This one's just smeltery. It basically smelts 3 different items at the same time, and I have made it able to create silicon, basic processors, advanced processors, steel, and raw plastic, which we use with Mindfactory Reloaded. Pretty cool. These two, they don't have an interface, so they just run automatically. This one's automatically going to export these ores into this factory here, and we can see this thing running at full tilt if we give it some silver and we say, okay, export bus, I want you to always, if there's any silver ore in the system, I want you to export that into this machine, and it is almost immediately going to fill it with 3 stacks of silver. Just like my name, right? Anyways, it's going to start to fill this up with silver dust. We went from 12 to 18 into 24. You can see it's stacking up pretty quickly in here. But we need to smelt this stuff, so I'm going to go to this export bus. This is pointing towards an advanced smeltery. This can smelt up to 5 items at a time, so it works pretty well. We want to tell our export bus, if you have any silver in your system, go ahead and export it to this thing, and then it'll run. We want, specifically, I think we want to get rid of this, because I don't think it makes this anymore. Some of the recipes changed, so it looks a little different. So it's immediately going to start smelting all of that silver, and yeah, it's pretty fast. You can apply some upgrades to these things. This one's running at 5 times. Yeah, that's crazy. And this will start to fill up, of course, in here, because I've got these import buses down here. So they're just going to automatically import anything that's in these blue slots. Mechanism machines, which is what these guys are, you can determine their slots and what they do from in here, the different colors. They're color-coded. This denotes the different sides of the machine. And if we go back, we can see that all the different slots in here are color-coded as well. So these are blue, these are red, these are green, this is purple. Blue being the output side. You can see that the blue is on the bottom here, the dark blue color, and that means that it will output out the bottom, which is exactly where we want it to be. Now, I don't actually know why I made these precision, because they don't really need to be, do they? Oh well. Yeah, they can just be basic import buses. Oh well, maybe I'll switch them out later. It's turning night, but I don't care. You got a nice little cozy underground area, and I've been expanding it in the back to accommodate these things. These are Mindfactory Reloaded blocks. They're called deep storage units. These guys are extremely handy if you have, I need to patch this hole before I forget and a mob comes through. If you have an abundance of an item, particularly cobblestone, it's entirely possible that you can fill up your entire ME system with just that one item. If you look, I have 133,000 cobblestone. That's a lot of cobblestone. If I tried to put that in here, I would not be able to store them all. It would take more than all of these discs that I have together, which are holding the entirety of the rest of my items. Well, outside of the ones stored in my deep storage units. It would take these guys all, way more than these guys actually. You know, these are 4K. We're looking at 133K. So I would need a lot of these guys, a lot. And so we're talking, how much would that be? That'd be like 100, that'd be, no, not 100, but 10, 20, 30. It would be over 30 of these 4K storage discs. That's too much. They're expensive to make, you know, and I don't really want to do that. So I would rather store them elsewhere, and that's what a storage bus allows you to do. It treats another piece of storage, some sort of inventory, as if it were storage for the rest of your system. So this means that I can plug up this deep storage unit, and I can put lapis in it. And if I plug this up and I say, hey, I'm storing lapis in this block, any lapis that enters the system is going to go into the deep storage unit. At that point, I can access all of the lapis in here from my terminal. So I don't actually have any lapis. Oops, see if I can get over this guy. It's getting tricky to actually jump between the two. I don't have any lapis actually in my ME drive. None of these disks in here have lapis on them. They are all stored on that deep storage unit. You can count, you know, the 9,249 here. If we jump over before my quarry picks up any, it is only 8,000. Well, maybe they're not. Maybe I've got some laying around. We can fix that. Oh, I have a storage bus on me too. Check that out. We can fix this by switching out our cable and grabbing an export bus. I thought I had an export bus laying around. I could have swore I had one. Did I move it? I thought I used it recently. I don't like making new ones because it's kind of a pain. If I can avoid it. Maybe not. Oh well. I'm going to craft one. Now again, I have my entire system that's able to automatically create these. And in my crafting monitor, I can watch it make this. So it knows it needs to make an export bus. I've taught it how to make silicon, how to make basic processor assemblies, how to make basic processors, how to make conversion matrices, and how to make ME interfaces. It knows how to make all of those materials from basic components. As long as I supply it with, you know, the base materials in gold, redstone, iron, those sorts of things, it knows which machines to use to process it. It knows that to make the ME basic processor, it needs to smelt that, so it's going to go ahead and do that, and it's already done, so we can grab this guy out. But we need another basic processor because there's different types of export buses and import buses, and so it's going to make the silicon here. If I apply a basic processor to this, it's going to run a lot faster, which is what I need. So made the silicon, immediately made the processor assembly. It's going to make the basic processor now. And maybe I can shift click it out before it goes in. There we go. I'll just cancel the job. There we go. And we can apply this like this. And we can make the precision export bus, which is what we're going to need. Okay. Grab that lapis out. The storage bus, or the deep storage unit, in this case is not containing all of the items that I need to, so I'm going to tell it it's got how much in there? 8,873. So this should force it to accept. You can see it going up one at a time, but I can turn this on to move stacks of items, so it'll move 64 at a time, so it should very quickly. There we go. Now we are at our max capacity. I'm going to grab these back because I don't need them anymore. Now this deep storage unit contains all of my lapis that's in my system, but I can still access it. If I pull it out of here, so I pull out a stack and I put it back, I'm still going to see well, let's see what happens. 9, This is behaving irregularly. 9-1. 9-2. Oh, I know what's happening. Yeah, if you add this to this, you get that number. Okay, that makes more sense. 9249. Yep, okay. Yeah, it won't count this amount in here. Or it should... Yeah, it won't count this amount, this 64. So it's storing this much, so 9185 plus 64. Okay, so a deep storage unit. How do you make these guys, and what do they do? Besides being a big chest, essentially, you can plug a storage unit right up to a chest and it works fine, but they don't exactly hold a lot of items. Deep storage units take 3 ender pearls, factory machine block. These are stone, and then these plastic sheets, which are 4 raw plastic. You get raw oh, don't want that. You get raw plastic from smelting rubber, either rubber bars from Mine Factory Reloaded, you get them from rubber trees, or the Industrial Craft 2 rubber. Rubber trees are really important for a lot of mechanical stuff, so definitely recommend getting a farm set up for those. And then some ender pearls, some eyes of ender, some more plastic sheets up here. And you get 4 of them, so actually really cheap, assuming you have access to rubber tree. This stuff is really easy to make, the plastic stuff. If you've got blaze rod access, however, you need to get to that. And ender pearls, this is incredibly cheap. And here's the thing. These guys store up to 2 billion items. 2 billion items. Right in here. You will probably never fill one. So they're really handy. They sit in one spot. They don't go anywhere. They don't make a mess. And maybe the best part about them is that if you grab them with like a wrench, and I think you just break them too. I hope this works. There we go. You can see that items didn't go everywhere. It still contains all 3,000 of the ingots that it needs to contain. I can just plop it right back down. Boom. So you can move them around. They're just going to store items. And they can store up to 2 billion items. Pretty handy. So again, this is holding about 135,000 cobblestone. And it's still going up. You can see all the cobblestone coming out of my tesseract right now. And it's entering my cyclic assembler. This guy, all this is doing really simply is just taking all the cobblestone, including the cobblestone, like dacite cobblestone, and it's turning it into compressed cobblestone. So 9 cobblestone of any type gets turned into compressed cobblestone, and then it's being sent to this cyclic assembler, so another one, and this is turning that compressed cobblestone, and you can't even see it because it's going through the process so fast, into regular cobblestone. And then it's being imported via an import bus right here back into the system, and it's being finally stored into this deep storage unit. And why am I doing it that way? Well, there's a lot of different types of cobblestone out there, but I'm not really interested in it. So I converted to regular cobblestone so I can store it in just one deep storage unit. Pretty handy. And I'm just getting like a lot of items. I had 2 quarries running earlier simultaneously. One just finished its run. I got quite a bit of items. You can see my diamond count is absolutely absurd, and I cannot believe how many items I've been given so far. I'm going to clear out my inventory, and then we're going to go build something new. King Lemmy has a new mod, and I definitely want to play around with that, so we'll go mess with that for a while, now that we've explained some of the stuff that's going on here, and have some fun crafting some things. So I'll be back in a bit. Well, I just had to look at the episode time, and I feel like we haven't really done anything. We did a lot of talking. But I think we're going to end the episode here. I'll have another episode up real quick, probably tomorrow, and we'll actually get into the new mod that King Lemon created as a component. It's like sort of an extra to thermal expansion called Redstone Arsenal. Called Redstone Arsenal. And it's got a bunch of really cool tools, and in particular the flux infused omni wrench, which I really want to make, and we'll get to this next time, spend some time talking about it. It should be pretty quick because I definitely want to get to that. So anyways, thank you for watching. Hopefully that clears up some stuff that I was doing and kind of gives a little bit more of an indication on what I'm going to be doing with this system moving forward. So yeah, thanks for watching, and until next time then.